Hi, Olari. Thank you so much
Hello.
for coming to Investor Talk.
Hey.
How are you?
Yeah, good. Rainy weather, but I mean, doesn't affect us too much. We are used to it in Estonia. So,
I'm in Italy now. For a
oh,
couple of weeks, we were low to see raining.
already start bragging.
It's burning. So rain is good. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah,
Uh,
sure.
if you want to give an introduction yourself and your company, so we can
Yeah,
start.
sure. So I'm Olari. I'm a CEO of Accelerate Estonia. Accelerate Estonia is a quite unique cooperation program between the public and the private sector, during which complex topical issues are solved, and as a result, innovative solutions and new business opportunities are created. So what we do is we are focusing on breaking the barriers for entering or creating new markets for companies in a regulatory basis. So our main focus for Accelerate Estonia is working closely with the public sector, policymakers, officials and ministries to remove regulatory obstacles. But on the other hand, the teams we are investing, we're taking into lab and join our portfolio. We gonna have a market strategy mentoring for them, as well as marketing plan, and in business sense, try to find them next seed round funding. Me myself, I've been in tech sector in and out about 15 years. Started with the betting companies and their tech solutions, and then I moved to actually in Asia. So I lived 6 years in Asia, where I founded a couple of startups myself. And the scenery there is completely different than in Europe or in Western world. So we can come back to that maybe a little bit later. And then I came back to Estonia in 2017 or 18. I don't even remember anymore. It's been a pretty bump road in that sense. And I had founded one startup, which I exited now in about a year ago. And now I work in Accelerate Estonia. So yeah, that's a short description of my bio.
Thank you so much, Olari. You've done a lot already. You're young. You've done
Oh,
that's
objective.
impressive. I mean, being an accelerator between pride and institutions, governments,
Mhm.
which are the area you are focused on geography?
Uh, Actually, this is the thing that our door is open for any countries, as we are not limited ourselves to specific areas. Uh, if we want to have a solution which is groundbreaking or different from all others, then we can't just assume that those ideas come from, let's say, from Estonia or from Italy or from Europe. So we have connections in Asia, in South America, in US. So yeah, and but our focus area at the moment pretty much has been the last half year has been UK because of the Brexit. Almost 4,000 companies have already joined Estonia e-residency program.
Wow.
And then they have a this is for them like a card for being back to Europe without too much suffering. Of course, they have suffered and they are still, but at least that's a solution for now. And yeah, and for other countries, let's say that are not in Europe, for Asian countries, for South American, African, we just open the door for European market for them. So so they are pretty much interested in that lab as well.
Thank you. How the accelerator, let's say, lab works? Do you invest any cash in, or you just give support? How does it work?
Yeah, sure. Okay, before we had three different installments for 30,000 euros. But now we actually have just one up to 300,000. euros per company. And that depends on what they need to do for us as well. So because one of the main things for the companies for us to invest in them is that they would need something from a government. Do they need some regulatory basis or some certification or just somehow in many cases companies just don't know exactly what are the laws. So they're looking for so-called loopholes in a sense of actually operating. And after those how to say criteria are fulfilled, then they're happy to go. But yeah, it's at this moment it's 300,000.
I mean, you are, I mean, being accelerator, you are very, very early. You are the earliest in the process of approaching venture capitalists for any startup. When startups come to you, I mean, except for the regulatory standpoint, are they all accepted, or how the screen process goes?
Sorry to ask, you mean like how do we choose the companies to our lab? Okay. So there's a process of having 3 criteria which they have to fulfill. Is that if they come to Estonia, they have to be scalable outside of Estonia as well. So we are not expecting those companies that Estonian government is the only client. It's no go for us. It would be just a GovTech lab if it's like that. We are not looking for a specific solution for a specific problem. We are just looking around like green turn. Let's say it's a problem Europe is having now, or the world is having actually at the moment, an energy crisis. So they have to be scalable. They have to actually bring something to Estonia as well. FDIs, taxes, equity, let's say, and third thing is that the company must open new business flows. So that if you create something, then after you, there can come other companies as well to do the same thing. So, but that's what changing the regulations means, that if one company is already there, that we have done something for them, so the other companies behind them can actually share the market with them as well. But we choose, yeah. So those 3 things are very important. That they need government, scalability, and FDIs. So if those criteria are matched, then there will be some smaller criteria. But still, I think it's a gut feeling as well, a lot, because you can write down a lot of stuff, and you can, I don't know, match the boxes with fill the boxes with hundreds of flyers. But yeah, that's how we actually work. We have a funnel for that as well, but it's a little bit more complicated.
Thank you. That's very interesting. I mean, which kind of hands-on support you give to startups?
Yeah, so the first thing is governmental. So if they need something to change in regulatory basis in government, so we are the ones who are actually doing that. We will find options, we will find evangelists, we will find, let's say, I don't know, undersecretaries, ministries, the ones who are responsible for that field or that sector. And so the decision makers would actually do what those companies need. So we are doing that inside of the government. Hands-on as well, we are going through with them all the business plans, market creation, so to see through like the scalability options, since we have a lot of connections outside of Estonia, different ecosystems. So we try to create them like different markets as well. So and we are pretty hands-on. We actually talk with all the teams in every few weeks to get to actually see where they are as well as actually give information where are we, Accelerate Estonia, in a governmental section. So yeah.
Thank you. I mean, if I may start up and I want to move to Estonia, you are the place where I should come to, right? So you can help me from the beginning, which means regulatory, all the things to do with the government, and after with helping me to establish a business, helping me to create actual business and how to run the business. Am I right?
Yeah, sure. Just to say that it's pretty common that people think that we are helping to create a business for someone, but there are a lot of companies as well who are actually opening some other section from in their company. So just to enhance their services, product, whatever, they come to us as well to ask that if we can do that, then their product will be even more, I don't know, amazing or yeah. So there are also companies already established years ago, which actually want to use Accelerate Estonia.
That's great. I mean, as you are extremely early, when the startup ends your program, in case your program anyway, when the startups needs new funding to start growing, scaling, are you going to help them with your connections?
Yeah, sure. That's no, I can't say that it's our main tasks, but it's very important for us. Since one of the key elements or key criteria is that they have to bring something to Estonia. So we assume that if we have those connections in different markets, different ecosystems, then the bigger they actually get, the more value they will bring to Estonia or to Accelerate Estonia. So that's a pretty logical thing. It's something the same if there's just a usual VC fund and if a company is starting, let's say startup is now raising money and they're looking for an investor. So that's like a very overused cliche word like smart money. But usually why it's cliche is that it's right that you need smart money. And this is exactly what we expect from us as well, that you don't only get like some regulatory basis, but we can use all around us, which can actually help to grow.
I mean, being accelerator, I've been talking to a few investors. There are some venture capitalists, actually even more corporate venture capitalists, that they try to find some kind of interactions between the company's portfolio. Your accelerator is doing something similar. Should the company inside your pretty big portfolio having some kind of interactions working together?
Just one thing again, sorry to I don't want to be nosy here, but our name is Accelerate Estonia, but actually we don't consider ourselves as an accelerator since we don't have this mentoring. We are just opening some markets, creating regulatory changes, but accelerators are a little bit different in that sense. Very often companies after the accelerator, they come to us or after us, we send them to accelerator. But of course, I guess VCs, because I work closely to different VC funds as well, myself, being counseling some of them, but to me, it's very important to actually have a portfolio where different companies can collaborate to find solutions to actually come behind one table to check out if they can be useful to each other. And for us, it's the same. We have these community events, we call them, but it's there we are backing them to actually collaborate each other to see through because a lot of them, not a lot of them, but some of them are doing the same thing with different angle, with different innovative solutions, but putting together some ideas with those companies, it's creating only more value. I can't see how it's bad, to be honest.
Absolutely. I mean, as you are early and many startups, they start they start with a concept. They start actually with an idea. Okay, but as you say, you have them to create a business plan. Many times the business plan, the first one, is not going to work. It has to be changed. The third, the fourth one. What's your what can be your advice to founders when time to pivot arrives?
Yeah, I mean, it has been a case before with us as well, with our company. Sorry, not Accelerate Estonia. We have changed our strategy, but not pivoted yet. No need for that. But well, in my opinion, is that there's nothing bad about pivoting if it's necessary, and you can find a new way to solve the problem, or actually with the same team, technology, a new problem to solve. So it's either way. Pivoting is again a red flag for a couple of or a lot of VCs that look, they don't know what they're doing. But that's like very human, that you will think through things and then you will get to the point that you went before. I mean, like who of us actually are still with our first girlfriend or something? You know, it's the same. That you're sometimes just it's not the best analogy, but you get what I mean.
Yeah,
And
evolution.
yeah, but then again, you see from the team as well that sometimes things just don't work out, and then it's time to close the shop and just start over with a new team or a new technology. It's I guess it's daily thing for startups to deal with that.
It's the right analogy. Why you become an investor? Why you decide to take an investor? Why did you decide to get into the venture capital? In the end of the day, you are there because
I can actually talk behalf of Estonian government in that sense, that ask the same questions from them, like why not to just lean back like most of other governments and then see what's going on, and just to open maybe like doors for a private sector. But Accelerate Estonia program or our lab is powered by Estonian government and Ministry of Economic Affairs and Communications. So the idea for our government officials, actually, they understood perfectly we can be effectively use our digital and Estonia infrastructure to create new success stories. So that means that if you have that infrastructure and digital like capability or capacity to do things, you would need companies to come to Estonia, and you need some organizations or like Accelerate Estonia to actually find those companies, to bring them in to use our capabilities, Estonia's governmental and infrastructure, e-residency for sure as well. So that's why I guess that it's easy to say sometimes that you have a really good product, so the people will come themselves. But actually, you know, it's not happening in many cases. It's a little bit like you have to have like agents or marketing to actually find those possibilities. And that's why Estonian government decided to actually push that as well through Accelerate Estonia. We have some other organizations as well which are doing that.
I mean, acts like, you know, formal facilitator, let's say. Also.
Yeah, and there's one other big thing or important thing is that to enhance collaboration between private sector and public sector. I know how private sector actually feels about government, and public sector is that, oh, they are very complicated, many layers, bureaucracy, hierarchy, blah 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 blah, a lot of things which are somehow true, but at the same time you need to have how to say, a middleman, which creates the feeling that if you have a great idea, if you can prove it, then it's all doable, and that's the solution as well. Oh, sorry.
I mean, sometimes you say you invest also when it comes to investing is different than supporting and facilitating. Which are the critical points that trigger your decision to invest?
So we actually come back to those criteria I told you before, that company must be scalable, we must somehow give back to Estonia, what it is, FDIs, taxes, equity, dependent, and must have something they need from a government. So those are the 3 points. But again, the triggering point is always this gut feeling as well, that this is something which can really create a value or some difference in Estonia and later on in the world. So,
what about funders? Which are your expectations? Which are the main characteristics of a funder when it comes? It has to be humble, it has to be big-headed, it has to be extremely confident.
Well, that's always a good question. I guess it's like both ways. It's for different, let's say, VCs, that they have a different feel about founders. Of course, there's one criteria always. It would be good if they have already founded something. They have already had that experience before. The hustle, the putting together a team to understand actually those small nuances, niches which are in startup for founders. But I think that one of the most important characteristic is that the founder must be very precise. So not vague about their idea. If very concrete in that we want to do this, and we want to, our vision is this, and we want to get there and here. This time there's always too much bubble in a startup world. It has been actually from the start, like, oh, we are blah blah blah, creating I don't know, new moon, but just very concrete stuff. You can be funny, you can be like extrovert or introvert, I don't care about that. But if you are talking about business, you're talking about literally to get investment or get to the program, then I want to see like where you want to be, where you are at the moment, and what's your vision. Some numbers would be good as well, but yeah, just be concrete.
That's true. If you can give an advice, how can be a very great pitch for convincing you, of course?
So I've seen, I have made myself really bad pitches before with my startup. So that's now like asking from a wrong person. But okay, my experience now with this 15 years is that okay. Let's start. It all depends on whom the pitch is targeted. So if it's targeted to clients, clients want to hear what problem will be solved for them. If it's for partners, then how they can improve their product service together, or what they can do together. And if it's targeted to investors, then of course numbers and vision. But yeah, again, it's a cliche, but overall, I think the pitches work when they're very simple. It's ludicrous to think that all in the audience are experts on the field they are pitching to. So very simple. The key is basically what they do, how they do it, and some numbers behind it. And
thank you very much. But at the beginning, we've been talking you're dealing with Asia as well. Can we cover it a bit and how you have the Asian market to Europe and vice versa?
Well, the startup scenery is completely different. In Asia, I lived in Bangkok, so there's a lot of so-called angel investors, not really like VCs. Of course, from Japan, from Singapore, a lot of people are, floating around in Bangkok scenery as well. But most companies get their investment from private companies. Some corporations even. Actually, one of my companies had that trouble. We took an investment from from a corporation, a huge corporation. Everything seemed okay, but in a couple of years, they didn't understand anymore that we are trying to take the share of market, not creating a value, or why we are not actually already, why we are still like doing the same things. If they based on numbers, they don't work out, but the market share they never checked. And then this is what's happening like in a lot in Kuala Lumpur, in Bangkok, and different other cities actually now in Asia. But in Western world, it's again market share. Okay, we burn money there a little bit, but we got that market, we got that city, let's say. We burn money there. So it's a different approach. Of course, Asia is changing as well. There are companies and then investors which I mean like Thailand based, which get the point for that to say, but it's more difficult there. And the founders themselves. They're also very different in Asia. In many cases, in Asia, when I was there, a lot of founders just wanted to have fun. And with the first money, they had a huge party, and then like clients will come and using some Line and Facebook and Instagram, it will bring all the clients. Even I remember that there was a company like a manufacturing tech. And they hope to get all their clients from Instagram. It's just it's simplicity. I don't say that they are doing things wrong. They're doing their own way, and some succeed in that. But yeah, and actually one more thing is that in Estonia, I mean the community of startup community is very helpful. We hold our backs. We actually support each other. But in Asia, there's like every man for themselves. It's just like a fighting there, not collaborating at all, not trying to build some great ecosystem. So this is only Bangkok and Kuala Lumpur based, but yeah, haven't been there for.
That's pretty different. Also comes from a very different culture.
Yeah.
I mean, where do you see you have well knowledge when it comes to Estonia, East Europe. Where do you see the next move in venture capital in terms of sectors? Where do you see the most? Where the money is going to for the next 5 years?
Energy, for sure. It's green turn energy. Well, this is something which has been blinking already for years, but now it doesn't mean if it's like I don't know, some electrical car services or some new batteries, whatever. It all works. Sustainable energy, I guess, it's biggest markets that's going to be in the future, and in Estonia as well. So the other thing, I guess, is always health. So is it mental health? Just health tech. Those are the two things I guess will be always there. And since we have to be like, I don't know, CO2 free in 2050, or I don't even remember now what was the year, then there's no other way. And that brings us there, that Accelerate Estonia, if someone is listening later, now it's the marketing line, is that we are recruiting for companies as well for a green turn or energy. So if someone is interested, then they can contact us. And also, actually, one other thing is it's also related to energy, but circular economy is another thing, which is great ideas actually at the moment in the world in few years. So we're going to see.
Let me close with how they can approach you, how they can find Accelerate Estonia.
Yeah, it's Accelerate Estonia from our webpage. There's a landing page. They can always actually, I am in a contacts. We have a team of 9 people. So they can always contact any of us if they have any questions, they have some ideas. something to comment about my talk, which they don't agree at all. I'm yeah, those I don't maybe read, but let's see. Yeah, I'm very soft-hearted. No, just with all. So yeah, that all companies which there's one thing what I have to very quickly say again is that when companies think or a private sector, let's say founders even, are having trouble with this, they don't know what to ask from the government.
Yeah.
So it's very complicated. I wouldn't have known myself a few years ago. But if you have something to ask from the government, you don't know exactly what it is. So Accelerate Estonia and our team can design that ask with you. So don't be afraid to actually contact us. See it through. Hopefully we can help each other.
Olari, thank you very much for coming to the Investor Talk.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Hope all the best for what you're doing, because you're doing something great, helping the community and not only the ecosystem startup itself, but the founders, which is it's a complicated job to do.
Oh. Yeah, sure. Thank you very much. So luck to you too.
Take care.